Hello, everybody, and welcome to our. I was gonna say, what was it Armageddon for? Backlash post show. I'm here joined first by, I was gonna say, Bobby on this side. How are you,
Yeah,
Bobby?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, and then right above him, we have my tag team partner from Tuesdays, Ed. How are you, Ed? I
I'm
can't
doing
really.
well. How about you?
I'm very prideful today, as you can see. And we got Parrish who's still kind of fixing his camera. I think. I hope.
We got half parish going on over there.
Yeah.
It's fine. He'll be all right.
We also got friends in the chat as well too.
Ooh.
Check this out.
Chris Best joining us from CBRS Entertainment. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it.
And
Mark Talks
Mark Talks
Wrestling.
Mark.
Wrestling.
Thank you for joining us again, Mark. We greatly appreciate it. I hope the editing on your review is going well.
Well, let's see. I was waiting for Parrish, but I guess not. Well, I guess we'll start from the beginning. Being here, having the pay per view from San Juan, Puerto Rico. So today is very some is special for me, even though it's bittersweet at the same time. But also having this show in Puerto Rico, it definitely meant a lot to me seeing this tonight. And we started another with Bianca versus Io. I feel like this match was definitely a great choice for an opener match. I love how the crowd was definitely in support of Io tonight, which is something that was surprising in a way. Booing Bianca almost at every cost was just surprising as well. But I love the back and forth the ladies had here. I feel it was a great showing for Io as well. I love having how even when I saw her coming out by herself, I knew that Dakota and Bailey were gonna get there eventually. So having them come in like in the middle of the match and kind of at the same time costing her the title, I think was super interesting with the storyline going forward. But overall, we still have Bianca as the Raw Women's Champion, and she for tomorrow officially she'll become the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. So, Bobby, what were your thoughts on the match?
You know what? This one kicked things off in a high gear. It was excellent to see the crowd loving every bit of this. And this continued throughout the entire night, which was what made this entire card exciting. I know as we started watching this one too, I said, wouldn't it be fantastic if what they gave us was what Backlash used to be known for, and that was a wrestling heavy card from start to finish. And essentially, that is what we got. We got an exciting card that people did not get bored about. There wasn't really one particular matchup that you could nitpick apart enough to dislike. And this one really was a standout among standouts, and a lot of that being Io Sky. She is absolutely fantastic. The crowd loved her for a reason. She made her mark, stamped her place on this particular matchup. And what a great way to kick this off. I loved this whole experience on this one. Well done by Io Sky. And even though she didn't win, I think she was really the essential big winner of this entire thing because she looks like she belongs there at the top now.
Yeah,
Well,
what were your thoughts on it, Ed?
I was going to
Oh,
say,
there we
before we
go.
do that, we got a raid from Heel Kevin, so
Ooh.
thank you.
Oh, awesome. Heel
Whoa.
Kevin. Thank you,
Thank you, Heel
sir.
Kevin. We greatly
Oh,
appreciate it.
dude.
You
It's
can go
been
ahead and check him out at Heel Kevin on Twitter and on Twitch. He is a fantastic person. He's a good friend of the network. So again, I'm just going to pop through some of these
welcome to
great
all the
people.
new people. Look at that. Fantastic. You
Whoa.
wonderful, lovely people. Oh,
All these
thank
wonderful
you.
people. Mark Talks Wrestling says this match had made Io for the main roster. I agree. Me and Parrish talked about this in the preview show that Io Sky could take her place on the main roster in this match. That this was the match that was going to allow her to step out of the damage control shadows and be herself and show why NXT crowds loved her and why you need to.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Kevin,
we greatly
man,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. This means the world to all of us, everybody here. Like, you can't believe, like, raids from guys like you and support like you. Absolutely amazing. And adding all this extra depth to a really beautiful night of professional wrestling here. This is going to be amazing. I hope everyone stays tuned for this entire episode. This is gonna be a fun night, you guys.
Yeah, we got I see a face turn coming from Io, I see a heel turn. I was shocked that the crowd turned on Bianca the way they did. And of course Tom Collahue coming in saying Io had a great match, really firmly established her. Yeah, this thing it's just insane how much this match popped off when I was like, "Oh, this will be an interesting match to open," and it just kept going. So good. Trying to keep up with the chat here. We've got people popping in. Face turn for Io, heel turn for Bianca in the future. I wholeheartedly agree. What was it? The match of the night? No, I have a different match of the night. But
I think it's what is your match of the night is the question coming in from Dad Trainer.
Oh, what is your match of the night? We'll get to it later on, but I'll say it right now. It's Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. That thing kicked all the ass. That was fantastic. Chris Parrish jumping in. We gotta. That's the Ole way, man. Everybody supports each other. All tides, rising tide raises all boats. It's a fantastic thing. Parrish, while I go through some of these comments, what did you think of this match?
I thought this was a perfect opener. Really set the stage of what this show was going to be. I thought Bianca did a great job in her role. I thought Io, exactly like Tom said, firmly established what she's capable of doing. I loved how for the majority of this match, she was on her own. And it was all about her. And it wasn't until the latter part of the match we saw Damage Control come in, and it made you actually believe with that kick from Dakota Kai that she was going to win until we saw Bayley get involved, and they played that part of it in. But Io Sky might have just absolutely put herself on a completely different playing field with her performance tonight. I think she was one of the best performers of the night for me.
I love for right after that we transition over to Bad Bunny getting ready backstage for his match, and then we have none other than Ray arriving to the locker room and greeting him, and he told him he had somebody there for him. It was none other than Savio Vega, giving him a kendo stick that had the Puerto Rican flag on it and his catchphrase on it as well, which is something that really made Bad Bunny smile as he was preparing for the match as well. Right after that, we headed over to Rollins versus Omos. I love this part more than anything because we had Rollins, as always, enjoying the crowd and enjoying the chanting from his theme song, but having not only that Omos interrupted as he's in that moment and just taking it all in. I enjoyed this match more than I thought I would, mostly because I know that Rollins really helped Omos showcase him in a way that he hasn't been showcased before, and to have more than anything the match ending the way it did with that that stomp from the top rope because he couldn't do the pedigree on him was definitely cherry on top for me. So I definitely enjoyed this match a lot. What do you think about it, Ed?
This was great. Another just really fun match. Again, I hate to go back to our previous show. Parrish and I talked about how if you can't have a good match with Seth Rollins, you can't have a good match. Omos came out here and looked every part the Giant they've been telling us that he is. He wrestled like the Giant. He looked like the Giant. He looked fantastic tonight. I was so happy and impressed with him. I loved every moment of this match. Seth bumped like a maniac for him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, what did you think about it, Parrish?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing but great things to say about Seth Rollins. He flat out showed to why he probably is pound for pound the best performer in pro wrestling today. I don't think we can disagree on a lot of what he does inside a squared circle. Omos had, I thought, was his performance of his life. Usually with his performances, he has a slip up here and there. Nothing. He was on par, did everything he had to do, and then some. He looked like a real giant in this match. And it's almost why I thought it was better if maybe him and Rollins had a WrestleMania match than him and Lesnar. But because of that, he looks like $1 million coming out of this draft as a free agent, while Rollins is coming out of it as a legit contender for that World Heavyweight Championship, which is what I said to Bobby before, while we were watching this. I truly thought after a Rollins win, that is what's going to put him in the tournament, while Omos probably isn't going to be in the tournament. And I think that's going to be the reason why. Not a deterrent, but let's look forward to what Omos does next, because I think it's going to be huge. No pun intended.
Yeah. And Bobby, what are your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll agree with Chris Best on this too. Omos is very, very green still, and I told Parrish this as we were watching this one. I said it takes a real talent, the level of Seth Rollins, in order to be able to carry somebody who's not quite at that level. And being able to work with somebody like Seth Rollins and put on what he did tonight, I guess will open fans' eyes a little bit more to Omos. What they do with him next is the big question, though. Where does he go from there? There is only maybe a handful of people that are going to be able to get that level of quality out of him. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, this was not disaster I kind of thought it was when they first announced it. This was far more entertaining. And again, kudos to that crowd tonight because they made it fun. Everything was fun for them. So it became fun for us as spectators as well, too. This was far better than it should have been. And I'm grinning ear to ear. I had a great time tonight. So this is great. I'm also grinning because look how many friends we have in this chat, too. This is fantastic.
Talking more about that, this pay-per-view as a whole left me generally sports entertained. It wasn't like it was the greatest wrestling show in the world. But this pay-per-view and this match left me thoroughly sports entertained.
Yeah, I like how after this we transitioned over to Theory versus Bobby versus Bronson Reed for the U.S. title. I feel like this is exactly what we expect to be. Like, I feel like it was a great balance between all three of them in the ring. It wasn't one of those matches that we had somebody more outside than the rest of them or anything like that. So I really like that in this match. I love towards like the middle and almost another match of like Theory kind of reversing that pin onto Bobby there. And Bronson, I know the way he was splashing onto Bobby was really nice, and that going one after the other. But my favorite part was definitely towards the end because something that I figured and I imagine what will happen there. Bronson coming in and then Bobby speared him, and as Bobby's about to do the pin, then here comes Theory to steal the win and retain the U.S. championship. So it's something that I figured would happen. I wasn't sure who would be on to who, but I figured that Theory would come in there, slither himself in there, and steal that win at the end. What were your thoughts on the match, Parrish?
I thought it was a great. What I loved is that it didn't get a lot of time and it didn't need a lot of time. But what it did was execute on every cylinder. Bronson Reed looked very big, looked very, very dangerous. Yes, he took the loss. Don't look at that as a deterrent by any means. He needed to take that because they clearly want to continue this Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley feud on SmackDown. And they needed Bobby Lashley not to take the pin, and they wanted Austin Theory to win, which that made him look so credible as a champion because it made him look really intelligent as a champion, and that the transformation that he had since losing Money in the Bank to reclaiming this championship and now going on this run, he's a very dangerous United States champion. Bobby Lashley is clearly the guy that he's maybe afraid of, but at the same time, he's smart enough to know when to dodge. He's a survivor, as they said. Bronson Reed will be a powerhouse on Raw. Mark my words.
Yeah. What about you, Ed?
Again, thoroughly sports entertained. Austin Theory is a star in the making as long as he can keep his personal life in check. This match did everything it needed to. It made Bronson Reed feel like a big deal. This crowd loved Bronson Reed. Hopefully we can try to translate that to the continental U.S. audience and get them to give a shit about Bronson Reed too, because the dude is super talented, and he showed tonight why he can be a star. He had his coming out party. Bobby Lashley looks great in defeat because he gets screwed again by hitting the big move and then get chucked outside. It's everything you need to do to have that heel champion get that sneaky win in a triple threat match. It just did everything it needed to do.
Yeah, and as you mentioned about Bronson, I thought it was funny, but at the same time, if you think about it, the support that he got tonight, because even the crowd didn't seem to know who he was and didn't chant his name in any way, shape, or form, but they chanted El Gordito, meaning like the fat one. So every time they chanted that, they were in support of Bronson, if you didn't hear. So I like how even though they didn't know his name, they found a way to cheer for him through this match, and you can see how he connected with the crowd as the match was happening. So I really enjoyed that, even though you probably think it's an insult, but for us in Puerto Rico, it's something more like endearment. So it means that they really cared about him during this match. What did you think, Bobby?
Before I get to that, I just want to give a quick few shout outs. ATP 818 who followed us, Bubba Smith 13 who followed us, Taskmaster 13 followed us, Quest for Jewels who followed us, anyone coming in on the YouTube side that's given us a subscribe here today. Thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. This match was kind of what I expected it to be. It was fun. Everybody kind of got their stuff in. At A-Town Down, obviously the show stealer of all show stealers in the WWE right now, putting on a hell of a performance and stealing that big win. I don't know. I mean, it was pretty good. This was probably one of my least favorite matches on the card, and it's not really a detriment to it at all. It didn't really have the the pizzazz, I guess, the style that we saw from some of the other matches throughout the entire night. But that's okay, because it still was a good, fun matchup. A-Town Down stays strong as the slimy little heel that everybody wants to slap across the face, and he's doing a fabulous job of it. And that U.S. title is actually a little bit more in the spotlight than it's ever been. So good on them. Great job.
Yep, and as you probably all probably guess, is one of my favorite matches for tonight. Afterwards, we had Rhea versus Zelina Vega for the SmackDown Women's title.
Really? You like this match, Astrid? I'm surprised.
Really?
Did
I? No, this is something that made me really emotional, being from Puerto Rico and seeing Zelina's gear. I knew she had mentioned not too long ago that she was going to revamp her gear. I just didn't think it was going to be the way it showed up tonight. I love having her with the flag in the background as she was walking down there too. I did love the parts of like Rhea even cursing to the crowd in Spanish. So she learned a few words from Dom as well there too. And even tonight during the introductions, having Zelina being so emotional as she was, first going to her family and dedicating her match to her dad. And even the chants from the crowd is like saying "Yo soy Boricua pa que tú lo sepas." So for those that don't know, telling us is like, I am Puerto Rican and you should know it. And I love having that emotional breakdown that she had, because it gave her that connection to the crowd. And not only that, but I love also the spot of like her getting the chancla for her mom by throwing it at Rhea, as they had that back and forth in the ring there is. And I also love the tidbit that they actually explained that during commentary. So for anybody Hispanic, we know what la chancla means. And not only that, but I also loved, I feel like it was a great showcasing for her, and we haven't had that in quite a while from her. I know during one of the first riptide that Rhea had set up, she reversed it with a DDT, and then she even did the 619, and then did her, head Eddie Guerrero shimmy too. So many bits and pieces that I love seeing from her there. I obviously had a feeling and knew that Rhea was going to retain the title, but still, even her showcasing. I feel like this would have been a great crowning moment for Zelina. If anything, this was the night that it should have happened. I also love that even with Rhea winning, she had a standing ovation from the crowd, and the crowd chanting for her, like even proud of her showcase tonight, her performance. So I definitely loved him from beginning to the end. What did you think about it, Ed?
I mean, it was exactly what it needed to be. It was a little shorter than I thought. It was a little less Rhea dominated than I thought. But Parrish and I again hinted on this, and he said that last night, that he thought it was going to be a little bit more of a showcase for Zelina. I thought it was going to be a small showcase in bits and pieces and spurts, but I thought it was going to be much more dominated and slow moving and a little bit longer from Rhea. I like that she almost gets that pinfall, and Rhea's like, okay, no more games, boot to the face, riptide, call it a night. I'm done.
Yeah. What did you think, Bobby?
I really, really enjoyed this one. Both competitors got to put their stuff in. There was a lot of good back and forth here. I've said it from the beginning that I think Rhea Ripley is an absolute star, but I've always enjoyed Zelina. I think that she's fantastic. I think that she had a really wonderful moment, and I'm assuming that it was a great connection there with the hometown crowd and everything for her, having her family at ringside, all those special moments. Despite the fact that she comes out in defeat, she really got to shine here at the same time against somebody in the former Rhea Ripley, who just put on what was one of the best women's matches, definitely in the history of WWE, but arguably period. So you've got somebody who's that hot at the moment, and Zelina really got to shine in this thing. This was a beautifully put together matchup, and probably one of the highlights of the entire night at the same time. Great job by both ladies, and congratulations to them getting to be spotlighted in this way.
Yeah. What about you, Parrish?
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to not talk about the emotional factor for Zelina Vega. Not only just having an opportunity to wrestle for a championship, but wrestling in front of her family, in front of her hometown, and just the home field advantage, as we say in sports in general, like it. And to see Rhea Ripley also on her counter end hitting it on all cylinders, she is easily the definition of what the best female wrestler in pro wrestling is. Just let me know if I'm wrong on that one. But at the same time, Zelina Vega truly showed you what the epitome of an underdog really was in this match, because I know going in, a lot of us knew she wasn't going to win, but it wasn't about that. It was about the show itself. And what she did was give you faith, give you hope, and give you belief that the fight is just as important as a result. And what I thought it was definitely a coming out party. She had that Queen's Crown, which felt like a long time ago. And now she kind of gets that opportunity again. She's put in the LWO with Legado, now with Rey Mysterio, and she did a great job not only representing who Zelina Vega is again, but she did a great job of representing what a female wrestler is and what a proud country woman she was.
Yeah.
Love you too,
next,
Alex, by the way.
next up, we had the first of two main events: Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in the San Juan street fight. I mean, this is from beginning to end. This was amazing to see. I know it got overbooked, but in the best way possible, I would say. I love those little bits of Bad Bunny coming in with the cart with the weapons, and the way he just threw. I know there was a part of the Damien was about to like dive in towards him, and he hit him with the chair on the way there. The broken arrow on the table was definitely one of them. And the more than anything, that towards the end of the match, and at that part with the kick that Damien missed and hitting that post and going through the ankle, at the last bit of the match itself. And once I knew at the beginning, once Damien and Bad Bunny both came alone, I knew something was happening towards the end of the match. I was bring everybody else out in here. And as you know, we have Priest begging to Bad Bunny to, slow down, let him go. Bad Bunny low blowing him and having Balor and Dom arriving first. And then Ray coming by himself, which I thought this is not going to last too long. Ray by himself in here. And then we had another Carlito come out with the LWO shirt. So I feel like that was a great pop from the crowd. There is something that I kind of expected tonight to have that, little cameo from Carlito at least. And right after that, we had Savio Vega arriving again with the LWO shirt. And, the only thing I didn't like was that it took a little bit too long with his entrance. I feel like he was waiting for something to happen there, and nothing really happened. So it took a little bit longer there. But I love having, after that Legado come in as well to, finish up and going against Dom and Balor, and even that little bit of Balor and Savio Vega interacting as well. And that that figure four towards the end, the sliced bread, and even the Bunny Destroyer, as we called it tonight, and having Bad Bunny win this match tonight. Yeah, I definitely loved the ending too, and having that celebration with the crowd. It definitely made the crowd really hot tonight. It was wonderful to see. What did you think about it, Bobby?
You know what? I normally would be a little bit more reserved on the gimmicky type stuff, but this one, everybody had a blast. It was overstuffed, it was overbooked, but it was kind of a beautiful little mess at the same time. Obviously, the crowd really connected with it, which of course is wonderful to see. If you could pop that crowd, then you're doing the right thing. There was a lot of great things. I mean, between Carlito, Savio's appearance here tonight, like there was just a lot to love about everything that they put forth in this one. I know that there's a comment about what sense does it make? I don't know that this match was ever put on this card for the point of making sense storyline wise. This was made for the crowd to connect with the competitors, have some fun. This was Bam Bam and LT in terms of storyline. That's exactly what this was. This was your celebrity getting in the ring with your wrestler that's been, lipping him off and ticking him off and stuff like that. And he gets to have his measure of revenge. But, also at the same time, I said this too, Bad Bunny looks like he's put some beef on him. Like he really looks like he's been putting in the time at the gym in comparison to when he first stepped in the ring with Damien there. That was nice to see. It really shows his commitment to the craft as well too. And I really enjoy seeing that. So it's great to have different people like himself coming forth and doing these one-offs, especially to bring more eyes on the product too. So I have nothing bad to say about this. This did what it needed to do, where it needed to do it on the card, and I'm glad everybody had a fun time and enjoyed it.
Yes, Mel, absolutely. It was very Toriano for a long time.
Yeah. What did you think about it, aside from that?
To be honest, I'll go back to it. Me and Parrish had this argument last night. I'm going to continue. After having now seen the show, I feel more vindicated in my belief. This should have been the end of the show. This was the way that you go off the air. I don't need Cody stumbling backwards and rolling halfway down the crowd and Brock Lesnar sitting with a thing, a towel in the ring. This is how the show should have gone off the air. You have your Carlito moment. You have your Savio moment. You have that crowd eating of the palm of your hand. This crowd could not have been any louder. This crowd could not have been any more intense. This was the way this show should have ended. I put it in our group chat. Oh, this is a great way to end the show. Oh, wait. And I legitimately, honestly forgot about the next match. I didn't even realize that the next match still had to happen. So I'm like, this is a great show. It's going to end at 10:30. It'll be fun.
I was wondering why you were asking it was going to end at 10:30.
Yeah, because I forgot that there was a 6-man tag. I thought it was bad. When that match started, I'm like, cool, we'll be out of here at 10:30. We'll be able to be on the air by 10:45. I'll be in bed by midnight. It'll be great.
It's only 9:40 though.
Yes, but it's 11:40 here.
Yeah, I know. You're both troopers for doing this.
But speaking of that, I got a little pick-me-up here to help keep me in gear. So while Parrish talks about the show, I'm going to go ahead and crack open my Prime. And see how
Oh, sure. Just take all the focus away from my opinion with your gulping technique, all right? Yeah, we know what's going on. I'm going to allow this before I go.
It's not bad. It doesn't have that same great rogue energy taste.
Oh, nice plug. I like what you did there.
But it's not bad. Tropical punch. You can taste the flavor. Very carbonated, but not that metallic taste that you get from a lot of energy drinks. It doesn't have that monster Red Bull metallic energy taste. But I still prefer my Rogue Energy, which you can get by going to rogueenergy.com and using our promo code OLEPods for 10% off.
I mean,
Not
maybe it was
way.
maybe it was set up to be a Rogue Energy plug there, Chris. You never know. But back to your regularly scheduled program.
I was just going to do that because, we got to pay the bills around here. So, yeah, go to rogueenergy.com. Use the promo code OLEPod. Save 10% off your order. Please, people do that. We want bills paid. They're annoying when they call us. But as my opinion about this match, no. I did not want this as my main event. I did not want a match that I wasn't going to see anything else moving on to my regular broadcasting as the last thing I saw. I thought it was a great match, though. I thought it was a great match for the fans. I'll say that. It's a great match for the fans. It wasn't by far the best wrestling match of the night. I don't think anybody will say it's the best wrestling match of the night, but what I loved was the nostalgic feel that they brought into it. Was Ed right when he predicted Savio and Carlito? Yes. What I personally did not like was the lack of involvement with the current members of the LWO in this match. I wish I saw a little bit more out of them, since that's what the storyline was. The comment was, what was the point of Bad Buddy winning? It's easy. With the brand extension happening now, we're not going to see Judgment Day against LWO post this. So there need to be some sort of finalization with what was going on. We're going to see probably Dom and Ray at some point later on, but that's going to be in the future. We needed some sort of good ending, happy ending at the end of this. And Bad Bunny being not just the hometown guy, but being the hometown superstar needed to win. Despite the fact I really enjoyed Damian Priest giving him the Falcon Arrow off the table, and he did what you will hear.
Kill the rabbit. The rabbit.
Corey Graves, that call from Corey, by the way, I was laughing for a good 5 minutes of that match when he had the axe handle out. Yeah. And then Corey just simply goes without missing a beat, straight-laced as can be. Be very, very quiet. I lost it. I was in hysterics for a good 5 minutes.
It was good timing.
Yeah.
It's
but
why
you know
we
what is
needed
more
that
than
clip.
anything?
It's why we...
Yeah. What I see more than anything too is that, as a lot of people are already pointing out, is that we go from Bad Bunny being in Coachella and headlining 2 nights of it, to being in Met Gala, to being now main eventing a WWE pay-per-view, which is the headlines that we're going to see from even tonight and tomorrow on. And I think that's one of the major reasons that this is happening as well, and like showcasing him in that aspect, because we don't know where we're going to see him next time. So I feel like this was definitely one of the things that I love the crowd more than anything during this match, is like having those cameos from Sabia Vega and Carlito even. Yeah, I got emotional just thinking about the representation that we got in this match and itself, which is I think the most important thing that we can get out of tonight. And then after this match, we had, I was going to say we had the ending of the show, but we didn't. It was KO and Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle versus the Bloodline. I feel more than anything, this match was about the storytelling. We had a lot of like kind of little arguments between Solo and Jay there, whenever they had to tag in and out of the match, and also having Sammy being in most of the match versus they were trying to get rid of KO and Riddle on the apron in there. More than anything, the miscommunication. I know towards the end of the match, we had that moment of everybody taking each other out, and then we have Solo with the thumb about to go and give it to his opponent when he realizes that it's Jay actually on the other end, and he stops himself from doing it. But I think more than anything is the facial expressions that they give us that sell you on what's going on in that moment. And even towards the end when they really tag each other in before before they actually get the victory. But it was, I think, more than anything, the storytelling that we got in this match that was really something for us to that was showcased and highlighted in this match in itself. What do you think about it, Parrish?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. When I was talking about closure with the match earlier, that's exactly what this match represented. It was a little bit of closure between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Bloodline, with the rumors that they're going to make new tag titles for both brands, and with Kevin Owens, Matt Riddle, and Sami Zayn going to Raw and the Bloodline going on SmackDown. You knew this was going to be kind of the last hurrah with these guys, or that's what it seems. So the idea of pairing Solo against Jay, because everybody's been just yearning for Jey Uso to be that guy now to go up against Roman again, which is kind of a nice little circle of life, because that's kind of how the Bloodline started. It's also nice to add this wrinkle that is Solo in there, and you just had that visual of foreshadow with the Samoan spike of what's to come, and maybe, just maybe, that spike will go to Jey Uso, but perhaps that spike will go to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, what do you think about it, Ed?
I was thoroughly sports entertained. It was a nice wrestling match. It did the things it needed to do. It wasn't anything over the top. It wasn't anything ultra fantastic. The crowd was into it still, which was a miracle after what they had just witnessed, to have that crowd still that high. Like, this crowd didn't die. Like, normally you build the show with some ups and a little bit of down and a little bit of up. There was no down tonight. It was just like, ink! Yeah. All the way to the top. It was a lot of good. I've been a big Solo Sikoa fan since we saw him in NXT. Me and Astrid covered him for a while. I was surprised when they brought him up when they did. I thought he would have made a good part of this feud, but I thought it would have been nice, since he talked about how everybody left him behind. I thought it would have been nice to have him join another side going after Roman Reigns. I thought it was interesting they brought him in to just, devolve that and go, no, he's part of the family, we're good. But I'm excited to see what next with him. Out of everything in this match, that's the piece I latch on to, is what's next for Solo. I don't care what's next for the Bloodline. I'm kind of disinterested in that. I don't care if the Usos get kicked out, whatever. What's next for Solo?
Yeah, what about you, Bobby?
All six guys are very, very talented. This was a lot of them just back and forth getting their stuff in. I'm not the biggest fan of six-man tags. Not usually something I love, but again, the crowd carried it for me. They were so into it that it made me enjoy it that much more. And again, I enjoy all six of these guys. And like Ed said, I'm a Solo Sikoa fan. Every time I see him, he's improving. He's getting better. He's got just that physique and that size that makes him very dominating. And the fact that he's bossing around his older brothers has just a nice, beautiful touch to it. I like that touch. I like the tension between him and his brothers right now. I think that is the storyline going forward. I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I understand how you feel about the six-man tag because it just makes me think like something we see on a weekly basis. So it doesn't feel like it's something you'll see at a PLE, for example. So it doesn't give that same type of feel. And for our second main event of the night, and to really end the show, we had Cody Rhodes as Brock Lesnar. This is what you expect the Brock Lesnar match to be. I think the only difference, like we had Cody coming in here from the beginning and kind of going on the attack before the match even starts, hitting him with like parts of the commentary table and with the steel chair and the steel steps, and try to take that advantage before the match officially starts. Um, and then towards the middle of the match, we get that exposed turnbuckle, and that's where Rock gets hit, starts bleeding from there on. I like him taking those two crossroads right in a row there, and going for the Kimura lock and having more than anything Cody take it to his advantage and pin him in that part. I honestly didn't realize it was a pin because I had my volume lowered on it, so I didn't know that Cody had won it just like that. But very surprising ending to it, if anything. But yeah, I feel like it needed to do what it needed to do, which is nothing surprising. So yeah, we just have Cody probably getting that momentum towards the title now as well. What did you think about it, Bobby?
I liked how this one kicked off. I liked that Cody went on the offensive right away, catching Brock Lesnar off guard, which is something Brock tends to be more the one to do. So I liked that portion of it. I liked how physical this got. I liked the fact that once again, when you see Brock giving a damn about putting on a show with his opponent, it means that he respects his opponent, and then you get quality out of it. And that's what this was. This was quality. This was putting a guy over, making Cody look like an absolute beast in there himself, going toe to toe with one of the most dangerous guys in the sport, and making him bleed. This was the time that Brock got the Crimson Mask, and Cody was the shark in the water that sees the blood and went for it. And I thought that was such a nice touch. This was every bit of the aggressive match that it needed to be, with some quality backing it up. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a good match.
Yeah, what do you think, Ed?
It was what it was. I wasn't a huge fan of this match going into it. I said it on the show last night. I could care less. Brock Lesnar, when he's involved in something that's not going to progress, kind of just makes me feel, eh. Cody Rhodes is coming off one of the big, huge momentum spots, and then he's in this match because there's nothing going on. And with the draft coming up, we don't know where he's going to end up. It was a good match. It was entertaining. It did the things it needed to do. But at the end of the day, I didn't think it was the big show-stopping thing that it needed to be the final match, the main event, after the show we had beforehand.
Yeah, what about you, Pierce?
Yeah, like I truly don't think there was a match on this card that really was comparable to a main event like previous shows we've had with WWE. But at the same time, what this match did was continue the wavelength. I was very surprised to see Brock Lesnar be the one that got the color. Was it a bad thing? No, because I love the rebound that it gives you as someone watching Cody Rhodes, seeing that he failed against Roman Reigns, and how does he come back? That's always the first thing, is how do you rebound? And then, well, he got beat up by Brock Lesnar on Raw, but then he comes back, puts the fight to it, and doesn't give up. And he brings you back on that sympathetic ride. Was it the best way of executing it? Maybe not. But at the same time, you get what you needed to get out of this match. I don't think this is the last time they're going to have a match. I have a feeling Brock Lesnar is going to cost Cody Rhodes a chance to become World Heavyweight Champion. And I feel that this is going to continue for at least another show or two. And I wouldn't be surprised with this ending we have, because it wasn't clearly definitive. Yeah, it was a clean win for Cody Rhodes, but it wasn't a definitive win for either Cody Rhodes, and it's not a loss that Brock Lesnar is going to just let slide. So I can definitely see this going further, and I'm actually excited to see this because I have a feeling Cody Rhodes needs this right now too.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much it for Backlash tonight. Why I figure go around the room and see what everybody else got going on. So let's start with Bobby.
Well, what I got going on is tomorrow I'm going to be on Bustin' Out there with that man up above, my brunch buster brother, Chris Parrish. We're going to be talking about the week in professional wrestling, going off the rails and just having a good old time. During this upcoming week, of course, Astrid and I are going to be pre-recording the next chapter of Killer Cut, so that's going to be coming at you guys very, very soon. And then, of course, back on Thursday nights with Papa Spokes. It's going to be Ring Respect Radio coming up this Thursday for you guys. Stay tuned for all that great stuff and make sure you're following along with everyone here on our local establishment. If you're following us on Twitch, just so you know, we are going to be rating out very shortly to our good friend Mike the Ref. But stay tuned, listen to us all, and head on over, give him a big old LE welcome.
How about you, OLED?
For me, you can catch me. It's a much simpler, easier week this week. Tomorrow, I'll be doing. This Prime has got stuck in my throat, and now it makes me really miss my Rogue Energy. But that being said, it's Marvel Talk tomorrow, 4 p.m. Me, Andre, and Cody will be doing a review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Then on Wednesday on the YouTube channel, you can catch what aired earlier today, which was Wrestle Drafts Weeks 2, 3, and 4. That'll be airing on the YouTube channel at noontime Eastern on Wednesday. And then, of course, back with my tag team partner talking all things NXT this Tuesday night as we get ready to the road to Battleground.
Yeah, and Mr. Parrish.
Well, I mean, like Bobby said, we will have episode 37 of Busting Out tomorrow here on our local establishment at 12:15 p.m. Eastern. So give us a nice little visit and say hi. And then also tomorrow I have an interview with HCW Sports there, Joshua, as we recorded an interview today that will come out on Spotify and Anchor as he texts me. So make sure you give that a listen to. And then again, every Monday I will be joining Carl Carafel and OMD, Chris Bast, whoever, Bubba Duke as well for the Monday Night Raw watch along. But before I say anything else, I want to say one thing to you, Astrid, because I know that you are obviously of the Puerto Rican descent. You're proudly wearing that hat. I just want to say how happy I am for you to witness something like this and to also have on the same weekend get 5,000 followers on Twitter. Just a congratulations to you, and very proud of the growth that you have been on since the day we met. Very happy. Not only are you a part of OLE, but I'm more proud and humbled to call you my friend. So congratulations.
Yes, and thank you for hosting. You did an amazing job tonight, Astrid, as well, too. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now
Well, for
plug
me,
your stuff.
well, I'll be sure. I'll try. For me, you can find me on Tuesdays taking over with Ed, and this Thursday making an impact. I have Mr. Parrish as my guest because Cody has something going on.
Shocker, Cody's not there for his show again.
But if you go on my YouTube channel, you can see the latest episode of Ladies Fishing Showcase and my interview that got released today with Samira. We talk about her inspirations in wrestling media, meeting Randy, which I didn't know that she met Randy before. So little things like that. Tomorrow, everything will be released on the podcast platforms. And then on the weekends, I do have my NXT review on Women's Wrestling Talk. But that's about it for me this week. Yeah,
You gotta
nothing
finish
else
the
for
show,
anybody?
Asher.
Well, I mean, nobody else has anything to say.
No, I think like Melball wraps it up. Great show, everyone.
Well,
It's
you
been
ready,
an
Mike,
absolute
anyway.
delight, and as always, thank you to our good friend Heel Kevin for the big raid here at the top of the hour, and a thank you to all our new friends that have liked, followed, subscribed, all those wonderful things here on our channels that help support all the great talent here at our local establishment. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight, and stay tuned for more from OLE in the upcoming days. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.